Russian news outlets are reporting that a social media troll factory owned by Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Russian mercenary leader, used to allegedly influence public opinion in the United States and other countries, has been disbanded following the stunning mutiny by Prigozhin and his Wagner Group fighters in Russia last month. The Kommersant, a Russian newspaper, is also reporting that the government's communications watchdog is blocking media outlets linked to Prigozhin without elaborating. On Saturday, Reuters cameras spotted Wagner logos being removed from its corporate offices in St. Petersburg. The building was raided by authorities during the mutiny. It was opened only last year and dubbed a military technology center. The US government and European Union have long accused Prigozhin of funding an organization known as the Internet Research Agency, which Washington says is a troll farm that tried to meddle in the 2016 presidential election. Prigozhin himself has previously admitted to interfering in US elections and that he founded and financed the organization, although the Kremlin has always denied any interference. Separately, a media holding group owned by Prigozhin is said to have been shut down, according to the director of one of the news sites under its umbrella. It gave no reason for the move. The group, called Patriot Media, had a strong nationalist and pro-Kremlin stance and also provided positive coverage of Prigozhin and his mercenaries.
At least 2 people were killed and 28 injured, including about a dozen children, in a mass shooting in Baltimore early Sunday morning. And, according to police, the shooters are still at large. In what Maryland authorities called insanity, the shooting took place after a neighborhood party and left an 18-year-old woman and 20-year-old man dead. Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson.
This is a societal problem that we're dealing with, a mass shooting, where a disagreement turns into 28 people shot. This is insanity. This cannot be the society that we are expected to live in. We have to do better.
Police said they're searching for multiple suspects and are urging the community to come forward with any information or videos. They also said the injured range from 13 to 32 years old, and that 9 people were still hospitalized with wounds from gunfire as of Sunday afternoon, including a few in critical condition. The tragedy rattled the city of Baltimore, 40 miles north of Washington, D.C., at the start of the 4th of July holiday weekend. That's when Americans typically gather for parades, barbecues, and fireworks. According to local media, the shooting took place shortly after midnight at a block party in the Brooklyn Homes neighborhood, with hundreds of people attending. Riots and protests hit France for a 5th night on Saturday after the funeral of a teenager who was shot dead on Tuesday by an officer, though the scenes appeared less intense than the days before. The biggest flashpoint was in Marseille, where police fired tear gas and fought street battles with young people around the city centre late into the night. It came as the authorities sent some 45,000 police to guard France's streets, with specialized elite units, armored vehicles, and helicopters brought in to reinforce its 3 largest cities, Paris, Lyon, and Marseille. In the early hours of Sunday, the situation was calmer than the past 4 nights, but cars could still be seen overturned and on fire in Paris, with people seen trying to kick down boarded-up shop facades. Tuesday's shooting of 17-year-old Nael, who was of North African descent, was caught on video. It reignited long-standing complaints of police violence and racism among the country's racially mixed and poor communities. The nationwide unrest that followed has forced President Emmanuel Macron to postpone a state visit to Germany. It's the worst crisis for Macron's leadership since the so-called Yellow Vest protests paralyzed much of France in late 2018. He also faced months of anger and sometimes violent protests across the country earlier this year after pushing through a pension overhaul.